Anyway, let's actually get into some NBA news. The only news that really matters in the NBA lore right now, that James Harden trade.
Mm-hmm.
What are your first impressions? Because
They're they're
again,
gonna,
I'm excited.
they're gonna be better off with Kyrie out than they will be Kyrie playing.
Elaborate.
Uh, two people. Okay, so two people. Ball dominant people. Kevin Durant can shoot off the dribble. Kevin Durant can shoot off the catch. James Harden can shoot off the catch with the dribble. Um, that's fine. That's fine and dandy. But out of the three, who's going to be the person that sacrifices? If there's three, if there's two people, you don't need the two people aside. You don't need either one of them to sacrifice. They can still and win like they did with James Harden got his 40-point triple double and Kevin Durant went off scoring. But if you add Kyrie into that, do you think Kyrie's going to take a back seat again in his career? Like mentally? No way. So I didn't think like there in James Harden, no. Because at the end of the day, James Harden still wants to be a bucket getter. He was a six man at one point, and he left because he ain't not trying to be a six man again. He's not trying to be a back seat to the a big three again. And then Kevin Durant, he's come back off injury. No one wants Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant can't can't take a back seat to anybody. Like we saw that once he played with the Warriors. So who is going to take a back seat to those three? They're much better off without Kyrie than they are with Kyrie.
That's quite the take. I'm not sure if I agree or not, like because that kind of makes sense, but also like if memory serves, Harden left OKC because they didn't want to pay him. Like that's more or less what it amounted to.
Yeah, but he left OKC because they want to pay him. He left, goes to Houston, becomes a megastar in Houston, goes off in any statistical category that's not including defense. And with that being the case, he's not going to want to regress down to where he began. You know what I mean? Kevin Durant has always been a superstar in terms of like, offensively in the NBA. And he's, a stud, the greatest offensive player we've ever seen. James Harden, he won't regress back to what he came from, essentially being like the third wheel of a relationship between Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. And then Kyrie, he left Cleveland because he didn't want to be no one's young boy. He didn't want to be no one's son. So he left there, and he's the one to go back to becoming that also. So I don't know who would mentally be able to retract back. And if you have a big three, someone, or if you want a successful big three, let me say that. Someone has to take a back seat. Someone. And offensively, with the Boston Celtics, Kevin Durant took a back seat in comparison to everybody else offensively.
Celtics?
Yeah, for Celtics, right? Offensively. Chris
You
Bosh.
said Kevin Durant.
For the Celtics?
Yeah, you just said Kevin Durant.
Or Kevin Garnett. Too many Kevins in this league. But Kevin Garnett took a back seat offensively for the Boston Celtics in 2008. But neither one of all three of them aren't defensive studs that they can make up for on that end. Chris Bosh obviously took the back seat for LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. So, and I'm pointing out the successful ones because I don't think this matters if they're not going to be successful. If they're successful, then someone has to take a back seat. I don't see anyone being able to do that to a significant amount to where it wins a championship, to where it wins them a championship.
Okay. So first off, what I will say is that I have some concerns about it because in order to get Harden, the Nets basically had to get rid of all their debt.
Mm-hmm.
I like Dinwiddie is out for the season. He got hurt. That's just the thing that happened. LeVert is a Pacer now, I think, but like he's out indefinitely because they found something on him with an MRI. But like they don't have Dinwiddie, LeVert. They don't have Jared Allen, who they traded, who they moved in the trade.
Mm-hmm. Which is the most idiotic move of all time. Continue.
They have one center, a crap ton of guards, but like between all their guards, unless you consider Harden a point guard, they have a grand total of 2 point guards, one of whom is Irving, and hasn't been showing up to work, even though like I'm assuming he's gonna play at some point.
Rumors of like where he's been.
So apparently he was out one point partying with Drake, and like he was supposedly he was also on like some sort of call about social justice while like the Nets were playing a game or something.
Does he? It's like he wants to be like. Does he want to be like a Dennis Rodman type? Like, did he watch The Last Dance and say, "Hey, Dennis Rodman got to skip practice. I got to skip practice too"? And then, but like, also he wants to be like a I don't want to say a social justice warrior, but he wants to be a person who is influential in social justice means. Because he bought the Floyd's family a house, right, today? You read about that? So like he did that today. That's interesting because he did that today. Who is this man? I don't know who this man is. Actually, no, I'm thinking about it. This man got no consistency and fluidity in his thought process. I can't read him. I can't read this.
Hasn't he been telling us he doesn't truly? And I don't mean to say this in like a bad way or that he doesn't like love the game, but he's been telling us for years that this game isn't the most important thing in the world to him.
Yeah, but like he's never missed time or practice while saying these things. So like, yes, he said these things, but like he's not showing up now. But that's never been the case before.
Yeah,
injuries, but like he's always shown up.
Well, I guess if I was gonna have a criticism though, right, is like not like this like it's great to care about social justice and whatever, but and like I'm not trying to downplay that at all. But like you can do both, right?
LeBron
you can show
James.
up to work and like take an off day to like do a Zoom call about it or like go and protest with people or something. And then like come back tomorrow and hit whoever up for 35 and like 6 assists and like just go on about your business in your off time or whatever.
Is he like very intelligent?
Yes. Kyrie's super smart, but he's super smart in like if you look at his personal history, and I don't mean this in like a bad way, like you look up like upbringing and whatnot, it kind of shows you some not like weirdo behavior, but if somebody did have a moment where they kind of buck the rules, it would make a lot of sense.
What do you mean by his upbringing? Like growing up as a kid, or like during the time in the league or college, or what?
No. Growing up as a kid.
I mean, he came from like a middle class family, right?
Yeah.
His dad played basketball. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're right about all those things.
So like, because like, I'm always curious because like I've known for a long time that Kyrie had like other interests outside of basketball.
Yeah.
But I never thought he like was using basketball as like a means to an end. Like I'm using basketball to do other things. But like I'm curious like what other things does he want to do? Because like he sounds like if I hear about Kyrie, like hear him talk, whatever it is, intelligent guy. Then he'll like do certain things or like say like flat earthy things sometimes. I'm like, are you intelligent? Like you might be smart, but are you intelligent? Because there's a difference. And I get how he's smart, but is he intelligent? I'm not sure. I'm not gonna say he's not though, because I'm not gonna be like he's not intelligent. But I'm wonder if he is.
Yeah. I personally just don't like psychoanalyzing players, so I really can't give like a good answer.
But he's like forcing us to. I don't want to either, but he's forcing us to psychoanalyze him.
But we don't have to talk about it though. Like we can talk about the fun thing, which is him on the basketball court. Anybody else.
We can talk about the fun thing. We can talk about the fun things with him on the basketball court, but he's not on the basketball court because so we have to psychoanalyze why is he on the basketball court.
Let's talk about the things that we're actually like seeing. Like this is the first time that we have a big three where it's all like ball handler type players.
Yeah, it ain't gonna work.
Why wouldn't it? Realistically speaking, after hearing Calvin describe the roster, the way its makeup is.
Yeah.
in all the other big threes, you had role players where you kind of had to, you got to kind of give them the ball.
That's not necessarily. I don't know. The Heat was not that way. The Heat was not that way. The Heat was not built that way.
What I mean, kind of give them the ball if their role players didn't have like a decent game, there's a chance that the Heat weren't going to win.
Okay.
And
you're saying that's not the case with the Nets?
I am saying that right now because who do they have on their bench outside? Shoot, Joe Harris starts. They don't really have a bench. They don't have any other players. The amount of shots that you would normally have to distribute is completely different this time around because there's only really 3 dudes that can go get you that will create you offense.
Calvin, who's on the bench right now for the Nets?
All right, let me pull it up.
Okay, because now I'm curious, like who's on the bench? Because after these trades, like I'm not quite sure who's on the bench anymore.
They ain't got nobody. Right. Think about it. Dinwiddie's out. LeVert's gone. My bad, Calvin. Go ahead.
No, you're good. It's like as far as like point guards, the only other point guard they have is Chioza, I think, who I want him to be successful, but like he's on a 2-way contract. Okay, so this is the current roster for the Nets. Bruce Brown, Chris Chioza, Nicholas Claxton, Spencer Dinwiddie, Kevin Durant, Jeff Green, James Harden, Joe Harris, Kyrie Irving, Tyler Johnson, DeAndre Jordan, Timothy Lawawu Cabarro, I almost certainly mispronounced his last name, Reggie Perry, and Landry Shamet. And Perry's a rookie.
Yeah. So I'm hearing a bunch of non-ball handlers and shooters.
Which is like
not good at all as far as like a basketball team, but as far as somebody needing to take, let's say 3 people needing to take 55 shots a game.
But when does
it's very doable where everybody can touch the ball. It's going to be plenty of shots in this because there's nobody else that needs the ball besides those.
Yes, it's just hard that they all play the same. Kevin Durant just posts up every so often, which makes it different. But like they all are dribble ball handlers who can shoot off the dribble or who can shoot off the catch, but really don't. And they dribble a lot. So I would understand this if they all played a different role in the game, but they all play the exact same way.
But they've all 3 shown us that they can play somewhat off ball, or they can play next to a superstar.
Yeah, a superstar.
We've seen it from James Harden, but they've all 3 proved it.
But James Harden wants to put up big numbers like he has. Kyrie's gonna want to come back and put up big numbers, and then Kevin Durant has to also. When has that ever worked? That 3 players have had that.
When have we ever had this?
One, like, it's just going to be interesting to watch. But also what I'd like to say is, like, it's not a championship team, right? Oh, yeah. Regardless of how most people think about it, whether you think they can reach the finals or not, and, like, I'm not convinced. Like, it's not a championship team because, like, there's not enough defense. Like, there's just not. And, like, there's not enough defense. You have, 3 big men on the roster, kind of, and only 1 actual center. You only have 2 point guards. And again, like, one of them's been on a 2-way contract to start this season. And like the thing is, but like if it's going to like work at all, like as I'm thinking about it, as we're talking about it, the only way it will work is if like James Harden has to give up points, because I don't see Kyrie doing it, right? Like you, how do I phrase this? Kyrie is the dude who has to think that he is top dog, right? That he's the guy.
Yeah.
And like if he doesn't, it's just gonna create needless problems. Yeah. So the dude to give up points it kind of just has to be Harden if it's gonna be anybody at all. but like it's gonna remain a fairly high-powered offense just because they're offensive players, and like Harden's a better passer than Kyrie. Like I just feel like if there's somebody to take a back seat in that regard, it's gonna have to be Harden because Kyrie just isn't going to.
That's so unfortunate because James Harden is the most versatile offensive player they have, versatility-wise. He's much more versatile than everybody else, so it's kind of annoying that he has to take a back seat in comparison.
Well, it's like the thing is though, I think you can still take full advantage of his versatility and like have him hoist fewer shots up per game.
All right. Realistically speaking, how many minutes a game do you think all three of these dudes are going to be playing together?
35.
Yeah, it's gonna like.
You think it's going to be 35 minutes where all three of them on the court?
It's gonna have to be for them to win anything.
Yeah, like.
And they all can do it too because they're used to playing big minutes anyways. So they're gonna have for them to be successful. It has to be that way. It has to.
Bro, I feel like for it to be successful, like you're going to have to stagger at some point. Like I could see them playing at least 8 minutes together in the fourth quarter when they really need it. But if it's like you guys are saying, if it's as much of a problem to have all three of them on the court at some time, don't somebody gotta like run the bench unit?
You are correct, but like, who's willing to come off the bench?
I'm not even saying like all three of you can start, but that's when we get into like staggering the minutes. So like James Harden, about 6 minutes into the first quarter, come sit down, and we have the Kyrie KD show, and then we switch somebody out accordingly. Because they're going to have somebody on the bench. Because Chris Chiozza, who'd you say? Bruce Brown, Speedy Claxton, Timothy Lowe Cabarro, and somebody else. If you can't have those five dudes on the court together. And let's say the fifth dude is DeAndre Jordan. Like
in fairness, like they were able to like beat the Knicks. I'm not sure how high of a bar that is to clear though. But
they beat the Knicks and the Magic. Those aren't like super impressive wins, especially after Markelle Fultz went down. Like those wins are losing value.
I'm trying, like at this point I'm just trying to offer some hope for like the players off the bench because they didn't do anything to get here. Like they're just here now, and they're gonna like unless like the Nets make some moves to try and bolster the bench somehow, like
with what
these young players are kind of just gonna have to show up, like on the regular.
With what draft capital? They're going to have to get off. What's that? Waivers? Like that's where they're going to have to pick up most of their players, like random free agents.
Look,
maybe down to the G League bubble. Like,
this is what happens when you do too much to get three superstars, and still don't know if you're going to win. You give up too much. Like when you do it, you got to do it in smart ways, and they arguably didn't. You know, they gave up way too much.
You don't have to argue they didn't.
They gave up way too much on Harden. It is what it is. But like, imagine having a team with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving going, we need another piece.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't really need another piece with those two players.
Hey, can I ask you a question? How much do they really give up? Like outside of their future, which unless you're a Nets fan, you don't care about their future. I don't care who they draft. More 2026 OKC. I'm here all day. Throw all your draft picks away. But outside of LeVert,
Jarrett Allen, I think that was the stupidest move they could have possibly made to keep DeAndre Jordan and not him. Like, why? Like, that was an idiotic move.
In fairness, if I'm the Rockets, I wouldn't have taken. Like, I would want Allen. I wouldn't want Jordan.
But but it's a smart move. It's a smart move for the Rockets. It's a smart move for everybody else.
Yeah.
But it's not a smart move for the Nets itself.
Not correct.
But how much did Jarrett Allen move? I know he was marketably better than DeAndre Jordan. I can give you that all day. But how much did he move the needle for their defense? I know they look completely different. because DeAndre Jordan is not what
what is
anybody is
He's the
used to.
most under-average big man I've ever seen. Like, he over here, Roy Hibbert, except more athletic. Trash.
Oh, you disrespect.
Okay. That's disrespectful to both players, honestly.
But outside of Jarrett Allen having some legendary blocks, I don't really know the numbers or the true impact that he had on the defensive end for that team. And I'm not saying he's not a good defensive player or he's not a good rim protector. That team just...
He's a good rim protector.
Good on defense.
He's a good rim protector, but when the other center is just your best player's boy, then you can't do anything about that. You know what I mean? They own you. It's like, it's what it is.
So, like, to this point, through 12 games with the net, this season, Allen was averaging 11 points, 10 rebounds, and 1.6 blocks.
Hey, what DeAndre Jordan numbers looking like?
Let's see.
Wasn't that man starting at some point too?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he was starting over Allen for some reason.
He was.
Okay, so DeAndre Jordan is averaging 4.3 points, 6.8 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks.
Lob City DJ, ladies and gentlemen. Lob City.
That is That's some garbage numbers.
Yeah.
That's like straight like off the sidewalk pedestrian numbers.
Oh, that's disrespectful.
Is it not? 4, 6, and 1? Come on now.
In the NBA?
No matter how
you said pedestrian.
Listen, no matter how you move it around, if you have a player, doesn't matter what crucial stat it is, and you say, hey, what he average? 4, 6, and 1. No matter what those 4, 6, and 1 are, that's garbage. Come on now. No matter what
it's not good, but like, let's be real, pedestrian would not do better. They just get their feelings hurt the entire game.
Listen, you should be doing much better when you have Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and Kyrie on your team. You should be mad open in the paint. Mad open. But guess what? He boo-boos.
They also got to pass you the ball, though.
He don't get the ball passed. He don't even got no post moves. He better just get off of the board. He getting boards. He getting putbacks from their misses and still getting 4 points. Come on now. That's your whole job is to do putbacks. Putbacks and offensive rebounds and get fouled and hit a free throw or two or whatever it is. And you still getting 4 points on average? That's disgusting.
Oh, like but that brings up the point though. Like one of the reasons why I don't think they're like a championship team is just like, again, the defense and no big men for real. Like they have Jordan, but like he's not he's not like he was playing for the Clippers.
They can't beat the Lakers. Look, can it be Lakers? No. Can it be the Clippers? No. They can't beat these people. People like they're the hype train. They're the modern day. They're the 2021 hype train. Get everybody get on. Choo choo. They ain't beating nobody of any substance in the playoffs for 7 games because they have 3, 2.5. I don't know what you want to count Kyrie as. They have 3 phenomenal players offensively. That's it. That's it. No one else. Trash.
Hey, I like y'all takes. I really do. I don't think y'all are respecting what we're experiencing right now.
Oh no! Like it's gonna be fun. Like it's all off. But like, remember. But like again, like I mentioned this to you. I think yesterday. My concern is like your 2 best players, 2 of the best players in the league, combined for what, like 74, and like who is it? Like they just barely beat like what was it, like the Magic or something?
Barely.
Like it's a 7-point win. And like it's like, all right, you add Kyrie, and that's wonderful. The offense is now more high powered than it was like then, but like I feel like that offense isn't gonna get you over the hump of like better teams.
No way.
I agree with you. Like I was saying yesterday, have you ever played a pickup game where the 3 best people in the gym are on the same team and how fun it is to watch, especially if they're really skilled.
Yeah.
That's what we get to see. Like I've always wanted to see this type of talent together, and we're about to get the only chance we'll ever get to seeing all offense, like a team that just focuses on offense.
So you won't. So you want to have fun watching basketball. You don't want to have fun. You don't want to have fun watching basketball along with winning.
Well, like the Nets isn't his team though. Like it's not my team.
I'm not rooting for them, and they have
for them
even for the beginning of the season, they have shown me that they are not going to win the title, but they're going to be fun. When we first saw that they got two bigs, and one of them is DeAndre Jordan. When we saw that at the beginning of the year, we should have been like, oh, okay, you didn't come to compete this year, but you're going to be fun to watch. And they're just more fun to watch now. Maybe 2022, they can get a big. Maybe they go talk to DeAndre Jordan or something. Get somebody in that can rebound. But if not, we about to have like two of the best on-ball scorers ever, and the best ball handler the game has ever seen. We will be entertained.
If the argument is, are they going to be fun to watch? I agree. The argument is, will they win? I say they'll make the playoffs, obviously, but they won't win a championship. So I think we just agree. Right now.
Once again, Calvin McGowan, hope you enjoyed yourself. If you are watching on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, leave something in the comments. You can also listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. You made it this far, once again, thank you. I hope you got a lot done of whatever it was you were working on while listening to this. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.